UFC 199 is in the books, and what an incredible event it was. Michael Bisping knocks out Luke Rockhold in the very first round to capture the UFC middleweight title and complete what he called his destiny going into the fight. Rockhold hadn't made a defense yet. This was going to be his first, but Bisping comes in on short notice as a replacement for Chris Weidman, gets the job done in the very first round, courtesy of a left hook and a few follow-up punches, and really shakes up the UFC middleweight division going forward. Rockhold was touted as a guy being a long-term champion who had a lot of potential to make a huge run, but Bisping ended that for him abruptly. But I don't think that's the end of Rockhold's title hopes. I think the UFC could definitely book an immediate trilogy fight between these two. It's 1-1 now. They both have a finish over each other in their previous fights, and just the promotion, the ability to promote that fight makes so much sense. There is other guys out there like a Weidman, Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza that do deserve title shots, are in the running for that opportunity. But just with the heat between Rockhold and Bisping, we saw it continue over at the post-fight press conference, a lot of jawing, and it just makes sense to book that trilogy fight. And as far as the co-main event, we saw Dominic Cruz live up to his nickname and dominate Uriah Faber to retain the bantamweight title for the first time in this run as champion. And really, Cruz looked unbelievable out there. He's going to be a very, very tough guy to beat. He goes in there, takes pretty much all 5 rounds from Faber, and is a guy who's now won 12 fights in a row, going back to his WEC, UFC days, and it could be one of the top pound-for-pound guys that's difficult to beat in the sport right now. But going forward, there's a lot of interesting challenges for him in the bantamweight division, but I think the fight that makes most sense is for him to fight the winner of the UFC 200 bout between former champion TJ Dillashaw and Rafael Assunção. Assunção is currently on a 7-fight winning streak. It would be 8 if he can beat Dillashaw, and you could argue he should have already had a shot. He's just been sidelined by injuries for the past couple years. But if he's back and healthy and gets that huge win over Dillashaw, who's already beat once before, that would make a lot of sense to put him in there with Cruz. And of course, if Dillashaw wins, Cruz beat him for the title in January by split decision, only the second guy to win a title in the UFC by split decision. So I'm sure Dillashaw wants some redemption there. It was a close fight. A lot of people thought Dillashaw should have won. So put those guys back in there. Another 5-round tactical battle between those two strikers would be fascinating. But Cruz will sit back. You should watch that UFC 200 fight, and that'll be the winner for him.